Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm gonna be doing a part 2 to my kind of like my story, I guess. I don't even know what I'm gonna call this series, but thanks to you guys for all the love and support that you guys showed me on the how I met my husband video. I decided to do a part 2, and this part is gonna be about the second stage in my life in which I got pregnant and all that jazz. So if you're interested, keep on watching. Okay, so I just moisturized my face. I haven't really done anything else because I wanted to get ready with you guys as always, just here. So yeah. So a lot of people might think that my story on how I got pregnant was very traditional, but it actually wasn't. It was very different compared to like how most people get pregnant. So me and my husband, we had been together for a while before we even had kids, and we hadn't even like gotten engaged or anything. And I remember it was in 2013, like the fall of 2013, when I started wanting to start thinking about kids. I was the one who was feeling ready, I guess. And the whole time, like, of course he was kind of ready, but I think he was still iffy because of the fact that like we weren't married, we didn't have our own home or anything. So we were still, at the time, we started living with my in-laws. So we were living with my in-laws and we didn't have a home of our own, but I don't know, like something in me just told me like that I was ready to be a mom. And obviously I asked him if he felt ready or whatever, and he said that he didn't know if he was ready or not, but he was like, I don't feel like you can be 100% ready like at a certain point. I think parenthood is just about, when it happens, it's more prone to happen like without planning it, if it makes any sense. I don't know. He's just like that. So I was like, I don't know, like I really feel like it's already like my instinct calling me to be a mom, blah blah blah. And mind you, I think only one of my friends had kids by the time that this happened, but I wasn't doing it because my friends were pregnant or anything. So in the year 2013, we started trying, what you can call trying. We had already been together for a while. As you guys know, we were dating ever since 2007. So we had already been together for a long while. And so I told my husband, even though we don't have our own place, like I think getting pregnant would kind of be like a stepping stone to, getting our own home and starting to become a little bit more adults and responsible. So he was like, okay, let's just, see what happens. So we didn't really start trying, but we were already like not taking care of ourselves at this point. So I remember exactly, it was in November of 2013 when I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know, I have a feeling, I kind of think that I am pregnant. I just had like a kind of like a gut feeling. So I ended up going to my OBGYN. I had a really good health insurance because of school. So I went to a really good OBGYN in my town, and I told him like, I've been feeling different, like I think I might be pregnant, blah blah blah. So they said, okay, like we're gonna go ahead and check you and we'll let you know what comes out, So by the way, I'm using the Jeffree Star palette again. And they end up doing like all the blood work and results and everything, and it turns out that I was not pregnant. So obviously, like every first mom out there, or anybody that just has that instinct to become a mom, I started getting very disappointed because I was like, I wonder what's wrong with me. And I feel like this happens to a lot of us, and not a lot of us are very open to talk about that. but like this happens to more people than we really think so. And I started thinking that something was wrong with me because I couldn't get pregnant. After I went home, I had a super terrible sad day. I went home, I told my boyfriend at the time, now husband, I told him like I'm not pregnant. They did a test on me and it came out negative. All my blood work came out negative, so I am not pregnant. And he said it's okay, like it just gives us more time to enjoy ourselves and to just take it day by day, you know, like there's no rush. And obviously like me, like I'm like, yeah, there's no rush, but like I had that like in me. And I feel like it's very, like not a lot of people give credit to people that want to get pregnant and they just can't, and it's really, really hard. So then it started getting to me, like I started becoming like really sad, and I just felt like I was ready to be a mom, and it was just not happening for me. So then my OBGYN, I started seeing my OBGYN a little bit more regularly, and he told me that he was gonna put us in a fertility treatment. So if you guys don't know, for those of you who don't know, a fertility treatment is where they basically test like how accurate and how good the sperm is and how well the eggs and everything is ovulating. So I told my husband, like, I want us to put ourselves through this because I want to have a baby. And we went through with the treatment, and we saw the doctor many times. And so I was like, okay, like they put me on a pill, which that pill was supposedly going to help me ovulate more than a normal person, and it didn't happen. So at this point, like it was almost gonna be Christmas, so the whole holiday spirit is in me, you know, like I'm really sad, I'm feeling really emotional, and I'm feeling really sad, and it just was not happening for me. I wouldn't get pregnant, or it would just happen to be that also when we started trying, my husband had just started a job out of town, so it was really hard for us to just make sense together. And the days I was ovulating, sometimes he wouldn't even be here, and then like just things that just kept coming up, like it was just not working for us. And I just was so sad, you guys. I couldn't really believe it. I was like, I can't believe this is me. Like, here I am wanting to be a mom and everything, and it's just not happening for me. And I just couldn't understand. Like, you know how like when you're very obsessed with something and you just don't understand why. And I just kept thinking like, why? Like, I wonder why we're doing everything the doctor is saying and it just does not happen. And it became a really sad thing to me until we got to a point where I was like, you know what, I just don't want to be pregnant, like ever. I don't want to keep going through like the disappointment of like getting all these treatments and taking all these things and then going to the doctor and it being nothing. So I told my husband, like, I don't want to try anymore. I just want to, you know, forget about all this and just keep enjoying ourselves. So the new year happened, and we were like, okay, like let's just try to move forward from this experience. And if it ever happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, well, it didn't happen, you know. So we tried moving forward, but in me, it was still like, why not me? Like, I just kept feeling like, what is wrong with me? Like, I felt like so many people out there get the opportunities without even like, in my eyes, right? And some people get the opportunities without even like wanting them. So I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, I just can't understand. And I went into really bad depression, to be honest with you guys. I was going through a lot. Like, I just kept thinking like there's something just wrong with me and blah blah blah, even though I had already told my husband that I was gonna forget about the whole damn thing. Girls mentality does not work that way. And so I just kept punishing myself and thinking like it was all my fault, you know. So obviously my husband is over here being all excited and shit, and over here I am not giving him a child, you know. So I felt like something was wrong with me. After a while that we kept going to the fertility clinic, I stopped wanting to go. Like I told my husband, I don't want to go anymore. I don't want to see those people anymore. I felt like every month it was excruciating pain that I had to deal with. Like, you know, it was just the pain that I had to deal with. And I was like, I don't want to keep going through with this pain, because it's just like mentally, like I didn't feel strong at the time. So I was like, I can't keep going on with disappointment. Like it's just not the way, you know, I envisioned things to go. So we stopped going to the clinic, I want to say in January. And it was okay. Like the first months, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it was very like disappointing to me, just to know that like even though we had gotten help, we still were not at the point where, you know, we were expecting a baby. And I just couldn't understand, you know. So we stopped going to the clinic. My husband and I, we started to plan like days out, like date nights and stuff like that, just to kind of forget about the whole thing, because we obviously didn't want to be sad. And it was hard, because like I didn't want to be sad, but at the same time, like I feel like I couldn't do this one thing that I was put in the world to do, you know. And I tried my best, my most best, to like not make my husband sad or guilty, because I would only see him like a couple of days a month. And I was like, imagine coming home to this. So I was like, I can't be the person to do this to him. Like I just can't. And so it got to a point where like I would just be sad on my own and try to put the tough face when he was around, because I didn't want him to like I didn't want to be sad and make him sad, you know, and worried about me. So it got to a point where I got really strong at hiding like the way I felt in front of him. So I would cry sometimes at night when nobody would see me, when nobody was around. And that was just that, you know, that was my way of like dealing with that part of me without, you know, pulling my husband into it. So fast forward to February. We went out for Valentine's, because in February it was Valentine's Day. So we're all excited. My husband's like, I planned a nice dinner for us. I am so excited. I can't wait. And so we went out to dinner and we're looking all cute. And we had such an amazing time. We tried a new restaurant. We just were having a blast. And then my husband says, we should take some shots. And I was like, no, I don't know. Like, I'm feeling better, but I'm not feeling at the point where I want to drink some shots right now. My husband's like, come on, like we only live once. We're so lucky because we got to spend Valentine's Day together. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I'm just gonna try to enjoy myself and enjoy my future to be husband, right? So then a whole ass month passed by and it was almost gonna be time for Easter. And I went to this gathering that they have at church. And I remember that day, I don't know why, out of nowhere, like that day, I felt the saddest. My husband was not in town, so I had to go by myself. So I was really, really sad that day. But I said, you know what, something has to pull me into going to this, you know? I can't continue to just do this to myself, in other words. And so I decided to get ready, get cute, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go and see what this is all about, you know? So I ended up going to mass with my parents. It was really, really late, and we were like, okay. And in the gathering, there was a lot of people like with faithful experiences and stuff, and one of the persons there was sharing about how God had blessed them with kids, you know, out of just a normal day, out of nowhere, like she just was pregnant. And I was like, okay, like that's pretty cool. So then I, out of nowhere, because I really was not even planning to get emotional there or anything, I started thinking about how like I hadn't been blessed by being a mother. And I started talking to God a lot. And I was like, you know what? Like, I can't continue to make my life miserable for something that I don't know, you know? So I decided to just leave everything to God. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave everything to God. And I spoke to God that day and I told him, like, if this is not for me, like, I want you to know tonight that I'm okay with that. Like, I am accepting your will as long as this is your will, you know? But if there's anything I can do, please, like, show me a sign or, like, tell me what to do, you know? So I left that gathering and I just continued off with my normal life. Nothing else happened that was interesting or important or anything like that. And I never really thought about like anything else. So I went on with my life, and exactly a month after that happened, I started going to the gym. I started doing all these things. I started trying to be more active and just, you know, distracting myself as well, because I didn't want to keep myself like just worried about that one particular thing. So as I one day went to the gym, as I was doing already for like close to like 6 weeks, I started feeling very sick. And mind you guys, a little backstory on me, I never get sick. Like I just never feel sick. So I was like, what is wrong with me? And I just kept thinking, because at the time I was taking a supplement to give me energy to go to the gym. And so I thought maybe it's the supplement, that it's just not, you know, today is just one of those days where my body does not feel like gym, you know? So I blamed it on that and I went home. I used to have this lady that she was like my gym buddy. She was a lot older than me, but she was really nice and she was really, really cool. And we used to take Aqua Zumba together. So I ended up being really good friends with her. And I told her that day, I don't feel well. Because she noticed how I had gone to the restroom and I had taken forever. And she was like, is everything okay? Like, you went to the restroom and you took forever. Not that I'm checking your time, but like, is everything okay? And I said, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just the supplement I'm taking for the energy that is making me super dizzy. And then, like I said, we became really good gym friends. And she made a joke that day and she was like, maybe you're pregnant. And I started laughing so hard, like with those times when you think like, whatever, like this can't be, you know? And so I started laughing. I was like, no way, I can't be pregnant. I've been trying to get pregnant forever and it just never happened. So I pretty much gave up to being pregnant. And the lady was like, well, you never know. And I was like, no, I know I'm not pregnant. Like, I know I'm okay. And so I went on home. I didn't tell anybody how I was feeling, obviously, because I didn't want to worry anybody. Not even my boyfriend at the time, now husband. So I was like, I'm not gonna tell anybody anything. And so I went home, I ate, I showered, and I went to bed super early, because obviously at the time I was still also going to the university. So I was like, okay, I just have to go to sleep early. Maybe I'm just tired. Maybe I'm just, you know, everything is just finally catching up to me, like the whole me feeling depressed and everything. So maybe I just need rest. So I tried to mask it for a while and I was like, okay, maybe I'm just, you know, there. I didn't throw up the next day. I mean, that same day anymore. So that's what also just had me such in peace, because I was like, if I were to be pregnant, I'm pretty sure I'd be puking left and right. And I wasn't puking left and right. So I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm okay. It's probably something I ate. I just kept blaming like the supplement and stuff. So I went to bed the next day. As always, I would get up really early and then I would go to the gym and I would take everything. Tell me why. I was in the parking lot and I felt so sick. I was like, oh my God, no, not this again. Please don't tell me that it's just my body telling me to chill out with the exercise. Am I getting sick? It was close to being, you know, the seasons were changing because it was almost going to be May. So I was like, maybe it's the seasons changing. Maybe I have allergies. I just was looking for every possible reason which would say that I was not pregnant, that it was just something else. So I was like, I can't be pregnant. I know I'm not pregnant. Like, I'm just probably just, I don't know. I blamed it basically on anything at that point. So I didn't even get a chance to get out of my car because I was feeling so sick. So my husband's like, why don't you take a pregnancy test? And I was like, no, like for what? So that I can be disappointed again, so that I can make myself feel down again. I was like, at this point, I'm done with taking pregnancy tests. Like, I don't ever want to take a pregnancy test. And he was like, just to make sure, like, you always just want to make sure that it's not that. You want to rule that out. And I was like, I know I'm not. It's probably just something I ate. It's probably this damn supplement that I bought. Like I said, I was just looking for any reasonable explanation except pregnancy to blame whatever I was feeling that day. So I went home and I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy them. And I'm just going to prove to you that it's not that I'm pregnant. It's just some other explanation out there. So I went to Walmart instead of going to school. And I was like, as soon as I get home, I'm going to take this test and I'm pretty sure it's going to be negative. So my husband, obviously he was at work. So I was like, okay. I got home. I was nervous AF because I was like, okay, I've never done this before. I didn't want anybody to find out because I was like, I don't know how people are gonna react. So I had to keep it in the down low. And I got there and I was being like all sus, you know, like I'm being all suspicious. And I was like, okay, I have to try to do this the best way possible that I can hide. And I went into the restroom. I had chugged a big Tropicana juice on my way home, and the drive was like 45 minutes long. So I was like, oh my god, I need to go to the restroom so bad. But I was like, I have to hold it. And as soon as I got home, luckily that day there was nobody home. And I got home and I went, because we had our own restroom, so I went to the back and I took the test, and I was pregnant AF. I was like, oh my god, I cannot believe this. And I'm like, being from a person that struggled so much to get pregnant, because we struggled for a good 8 months before I even got pregnant at all. Being that person that had just struggled before, I didn't believe it. I was in denial the whole time. So I called my husband and I told him, like, I sent him a picture of the test, and I was like out of words. Like, I couldn't even believe that it was me saying like I'm pregnant. Like, it just wouldn't sink in. Obviously I had to call my OBGYN that next day, because I couldn't call from my husband's house. So I didn't want anybody to know. I was like, obviously I have to test, you know, when I'm not in the house, because I didn't want anybody to know. And not because I was ashamed of people knowing that I was pregnant, but because I didn't want to falsely make anybody excited, if it makes any sense. Like, I had been disappointed so many times that I would say like, oh my god, like I feel pregnant, and then I wasn't. So I was like, I'm not about to do that. Like, I can't do that to anyone. I've done it to myself so many times that I was like, I can't do that to anyone. So the next day I ended up calling my OBGYN, and I told them like I took a pregnancy test and it came out positive. And I know it's their job, you know, but the lady there, like, she was so rude. I will never forget her, because she was like, it's not a positive until you take your blood work. And I was like, okay, like, so me being unexperienced, I was like, so what's the next thing for me to do? And she was like, you need to come to the office and get tested here, so it can be like a confirmed pregnancy. And I was like, okay, like, all right, like, I'll show up. Do you guys have any appointments? She was like, we have an appointment, but you need to get here like in 10 minutes. Basically, I had to like freaking rush myself to get to the appointment, because I was not gonna lose the chance to find out if finally my prayers had been heard. I've always been like a very religious person, so I was like, please let me know that my prayers have finally been heard. Could it be? And it was just a month, like a bunch of emotions, and it was really hard because I couldn't share that with my husband, because obviously he was at work. So imagine all the emotions I was going through, because I was like, I don't know, I've never done this before. I don't know anything about this. I went into the office and I filled in all my paperwork. I was so nervous. I was like literally trembling. And then it was so cute because I was seeing like other moms that were on the floor waiting for like their appointments and stuff. And just to see like people in their bellies, like, I don't know, it was just a roller coaster for me. I was like, oh my God, am I ready for this? What am I about to do? Like, do I feel excited? Do I feel nervous? I didn't even know what I was feeling at the time. And so they finally called me in. They did blood work, which felt like somebody was about to kill me. And then they did also a sonogram to see if there was like a heartbeat. And I was like, oh my God, this isn't real. Like, I think it felt real when they started testing me, when they told me they were gonna have to do a sonogram. I think that's when it finally like just kicked in me, because like, oh my God, I'm about to do this right now. So I was like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, I'm so nervous. And nobody, like, there's nobody there to hold my hand or anything. I was just like a whole ass like roller coaster of emotions. I was like, oh my God, I'm about to do this. Am I ready? Am I gonna be a good parent? Like, everything you can possibly think of comes to your mind. And the moment came where like they told me the results are gonna be ready later, but that they were gonna give me a sonogram. When they did the sonogram on me, I think it was the most emotional thing I have ever experienced, because you're going in basically blindfolded. Like, you don't know what to expect until you hear a little person growing in you. And I was like, oh my God, like, I could not hold my tears. And I could feel like people just like staring at me like, okay, like, what is the big deal? But until you haven't felt an infertility issue, you don't understand what people might feel when they hear the first heartbeat. After that, I can basically tell you guys I was in love. I didn't really even care what the baby was gonna be, because that was a lot of people's like questions, like, do you want a boy, do you want a girl? I was like, I don't even know. I mean, not that I didn't care, but I was like, at this point, like, I'm just excited to have this miracle in me. And I was like, I can't even picture or describe in words how I felt that day. After a couple of months, I obviously found out through a gender reveal that we were having a boy. And the way I did my first gender reveal was that they did a sono again, and then they found out the gender of the baby, but I wasn't looking the whole time that we were there. I was blindfolded. My husband was blindfolded, and it was just in a CD. We made a little dinner and everything with our family, and then we revealed we're having our baby boy. So fast forward to now, my son is now 5 going to 6 years old, and he will forever be the miracle that changed my life, because that little boy has seriously changed my life in so many ways. And yeah, that is how I found out I was pregnant with my first baby. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys liked the story. If you guys want to keep on for part 3, give this video a big thumbs up so that I know you guys want to see part 3. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.